Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing, favorite season. Sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing, favorite season. They said, say Nick, what you got up in that bag, yeah. I got racks in my sack or in my bag, yeah. They said, say Nick, what you got up in that bag, yeah. I got racks in my sack or in my bag, yeah. Frozen, neck is frozen, catch me rolling.
Welcome to Saturday Morning Inspection. I'm Nick Rudman, joined as always by Andrew Myre, and welcome to a special clip of our show, Saturday Morning Inspection, and we're going to get right into it. Look, we watch football. We're all fans, but what do we want when we watch football, right? We want to watch sort of the ideal of what we expect out of athletes and people. You know, we want to see a great athletic plays. We want to see toughness. We want to see grit. You know, football captivates us because there's individual effort, there's teamwork, there's unbelievable feats of speed and strength and just size and just things that we don't see in our day-to-day life, right? Football is such a representation of ideal. Of what we could be as a culture and as a community and as a society, you know, and that's something that why we all really like football, right? It bonds the community together, whether it's a team, a town, a state, whatever, behind a certain cause, supporting a group of men going out there and competing and giving their all on the football field. And with that in mind, that brings us to the events that transpired this week at Oxford High School in Michigan. We are all saddened, if you hadn't heard the news, of the reporting of the school shooting that occurred at Oxford High School. At this time, the 4 students have been killed. Multiple others have been hurt. The shooter is in custody. But the big story I want to talk about is the events of one Tate Myre. Tate Myre is a 16-year-old kid. He was in high school, like we've all been in high school, going through his day-to-day grind. But what was special about Tate Myre was that he was a football player, a star football player. He was being openly recruited by Toledo at the time. He's got a great highlight tape. Looks like a leader on the team. Looks to be all great guy. Great future in front of him. Well, Tate Myre, when the shooting began, took it upon himself to selflessly and bravely and courageously charge the shooter, saving dozens, if not more, of his own classmates' lives in the process. Unfortunately, Tate Myre succumbed to the severe amount of bullet wounds he received from the shooter during his heroic act. And when I heard this story and when I saw in the news, obviously like the rest of the country and the world, it's all very sad and tragic, you know, but when I heard that this football player, this young man stepped up, you know, I kind of made me step back and think. And, you know, we talk about on this show and a bunch of other shows, we talk a lot about what's wrong with the game of football. You say, you know, what could be the game of football? You know, what could make the game better? There's so many things wrong with it. Why can't it be better? But when I see the story of Tate Myre, you know, and I think of the fact that he was a football player, I think that in fact he was a leader. He was everything we aspired to be, you know, physically fit, tough guy, team leader, all about winning, doing everything that when his number was called, he was going to step up. And that's what he did. And that's why I think things like football have such a deep entrenchment into our society, and why things like the games that we watch and follow mean a lot to us, because it allows us to look at ideals and to look and try to find our heroes on the football field. Well, I think it's good to say for a very, very long time, we don't have to look onto the football field to find our hero. We just have to look at Tate Myre, because Tate, this is what an unbelievable hero. You're a legend. You're an awesome inspiration, role model. You know, your memory will live on with your friends, families, and all of us who have played and watched the game, because, you know, we watch football on TV to see the embodiment of the human spirit, of the American culture, of everything I've talked about. And you lived it by stepping up when your number was called. So this is really, really just inspirational and powerful. And the game of football in the world misses you, Tate, but we will not forget you. Mize, any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a couple things to say. I think you said some really interesting things here, and one of them being that, you know, you're sad for the loss of all the families involved. It's a terrible incident, but if we want to take something positive out of this, like you said, people can knock football, and, you know, it's a game, you know, adds no real value, people could say, to things that kids play, you know. We get mad at NFL players and what they do, but it breeds men, brave men, just like this young man who's able to do things like that. And I think we kind of take that for granted. The mental toughness, the grit. People, you might wonder, how can this transfer into my everyday life? What do I get out of something like that? And this is what you get out of it. When the occasion arises and your fight or flight reflex is awakened, like you can do, well, they say flight or flight, but there's 3 things you do: fight, flight, freeze. Well, if you're a football player and you've been training and doing these things, I'm not saying that you're automatically going to be a hero, but you've been trained to, in a sense, go to the football field, go to battle every day. You know, it's a tough game. It's a physical game. And obviously that allowed this young man to fight. And, you know, without thinking, he did the right thing, and he attacked the shooter, and he was able to save many, many people's lives. And I think it's a pretty special thing.
It is. It's a sad time, but it's a special look into a special man, special young man, really kid. But he stepped up when his number was called and did a courageous, heroic thing. Just a testament to the game that, you know, mattered so much to him, and to the rest of us that will, you know, will remember everything he did for the rest of our lives, and let that be an inspiration as we all go and experience the game of football in our own lives in our own way.
And I think we would be remiss if we didn't say a few words about it. So I'm glad that we could get together for this special segment of Saturday Morning Inspection to kind of remember a lost football player. And, you know, some people might think, you know, this doesn't pertain to us, but he was a football player, and we like to shine the light on anyone in the football community who does courageous things, and he certainly did that.
I got racks in my sack, hurt my back, yeah. They said, Saint Nick, what you got up in that bag, yeah. I got racks.